Shop Boys are an English duo who are Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe. They were formed in 1981 and became known for their electro pop. They have released 15 studio albums with no changes in membership, and they have been hugely successful commercially and critically. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is the third album by the Pet Shop Boys, and I think it's my first listen, but I do know most of the songs. Certainly, out of the six tracks on this album, I knew four of them, and maybe I'd heard one of the others before. I kind of vaguely recognised it. So unusually for this time, being 1988, they didn't release an album of short songs and then release individual extended mixes on 12-inch singles. So the extended mix was a big thing at this point in the world of music and releases. We're kind of somewhat in the last hurrah of vinyl, almost here. Not that they knew that. So they did this the other way around, apparently. They did short singles, and the album is a collection of extended mixes. So they feel like I'm going to try and not call them 12-inch mixes because they're not released on 12-inch singles. Maybe they were individually, I don't know as well, but it's definitely extended mixes of these songs. I'm going to describe it as dance pop. There's lots of drum beats done in a, in a definitely in a sequenced way, so it gives it that metronomic feel. There's lots of samples and lots of synths, and the occasional other instrument in there as well. There are some things that sound very much like real instruments that have been added to this, but there's a whole load of samples. I think the classic Pet Shop Boys sound has got things like orchestral hits in it, so it goes bam, like the whole orchestra doing one chord. And then that's been sampled, and then they've used that. Musically, I really like it. It's got a tendency to kind of feel lush and grand and etc. The extended mixes are done well. So again, I'm going to talk about textures, changing elements. It's very kind of club dancey stuff. I've never been a club dancer, but I can imagine that this stuff would go down well in that situation. It certainly goes down well with me. There's some nice additions to the textures in the tracks that I knew as the shorter versions. So, like, I'm going to put like opera singing, strings. There's some nicely played guitar done at some points. There's a variety of producers, including Trevor Horn on a couple of them. So Trevor Horn's a guy who had an interesting history around this time, but probably is best known for his production of Frankie Goes to Hollywood, things like Two Tribes and Relax and stuff like that. And he particularly pioneered this very much four on the floor beat sound, the boom, 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 and then a whole lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So very much, even the ones that aren't him have a kind of similarity to that kind of sound often. So at the time, I really loved the best of the 12-inch mix stuff that was coming out. And I have to say, if I had got this album at the time, I probably would have loved it to bits. I still found it really engaging. There are, I'd have to say, elements of rave slash house music in here. Now that is yet to come. We're kind of about three, 3 years off that really breaking out. But some of the keyboard rhythms that are being used here are very kind of housey. Um, right. So I've always enjoyed his delivery in the Pet Shop Boys. It's quite laconic. It's somehow kind of both homey and street sophisticated. It's just the way he delivers stuff and the tenor of his voice is kind of it's kind of slick but very likable. And I think a lot of people have responded to his voice in the same way. Um, so the songs are mostly about everyday life as a city boy. There are six songs as unusually. I'm actually going to go fairly quickly through all six of them. So the first one is "Left to My Own Devices," which is a song that charted, and I liked at the time, and I do like this version of it. I like it more because it's an extended version. The second one is "I Want a Dog," which is, I'd say, musically less strong, but still pretty good. Lyrically interesting. It's about wanting a chihuahua, and it's just about kind of mundane stuff, but done in a way that's engaging. Number three is "Domino Dancing." It's probably my least favourite track on the album. I find it a little bit weak compared to the others, but still, that's just comparatively. Very recognizable from when it was released as a single. The fourth track, I'm Not Scared. So I was a little bit surprised by this song when it came on, because I don't know it by the Pet Shop Boys. I know it by a band called Eighth Wonder, who were fronted by Patsy Kensit. Now, Patsy Kensit went on to do acting, and have some fairly high-profile romantic relationships. And at the time when this was released, so I got some Eighth Wonder stuff, because I was slightly intrigued by them. I will confess that I found her attractive, and that was part of it. Um, uh, and But I would say this, in my opinion, is a better version than the Eighth Wonder version. But I'm fairly familiar with this as a song, and as soon as I came on, what? Hang on, is this Pet Shop Boys? What? Uh, and then I had to kind of search my mind for what it is, and then when the lyrics started, I went, "Oh yes, it's I'm Not Scared." So apparently they wrote it. So this is their version. Right, number five, Always on My Mind, which is a version of an Elvis song. And always when I hear it, I picture the video, which has got them in a limousine with an actor, Josh Allen, I think his name is, in it. And it's a great video, even though it's really simple. And I think it's probably my favourite Pet Shop Boys track. It's just great, superb feel to it, and just done well. And then I have to say, this version is glorious. I absolutely love it. It's, yeah, definitely my favourite track on the album. And that's, on an album of mostly pretty strong stuff. Finally, It's All Right, which I didn't know. It's got some social commentary in it, but not strong. This was one that I felt was quite ravey at times, particularly with the keyboard rhythms. So, nicely written songs. Check. Attractive voice. Check. Grooves. Check. Let's do it the way they're around so you can see it. Good extended mixes. Check. Definitely great album. Loved it to bits. And as always, at this point, I'd like to invite you to tell me what you think of this album. So please do. And the easy way of doing that is by leaving me a comment, either with your thumbs on your phone or typing on the keyboard, or however you do it. I love reading viewer comments and respond to almost all of them. And that's it from me for now.
Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should.